Good afternoon and morning, everyone. This is Vishnu Vasudevan. I'm with Opsera. I head the product here with Opsera, and I've been working in the DevOps industry for quite some time. I'm also an ambassador in DevOps Institute and an influencer for DASA. And like about me, I'm a DevOps nerd. Like I've been like living and breathing about DevOps for last 12 years now. I'm also a part-time photographer, cricketer, and I love traveling. But with pandemic, not much traveling, but like I hope to have a lot of traveling this year. So about Opsera, right? Like what do we do? So we are the first DevOps orchestration platform where we help customers to speed up the software delivery with automated tool chains. In that sense, like you can bring your own tools or you can spin up tools from Opsera and build pipelines declaratively. When I say declaratively, it's not the Groovy script or the YAML script you write declaratively. You can basically plug and play the pipelines with the quality and security gates. On top of it, you get real-time insights, right? Like which is the observability piece of it. And we do have a lot of customers like who is using a platform starting from Fortune 100 financial banks to the Fortune 1000 companies, like who are using our product for like last 18 months. And we do have recognition from the industry, starting from Gartner, and like we have been named as the innovator in the DevOps dozen awards last year, and also like we do like receive the highest high performer in the winter 2022 award as well. That's about Opsera in a quick summary, and let's get into the topic, right? Like we are all talking about security, and like as you know, like last year, like we started with the SolarWinds, everybody was talking about how it happened, and like at the end of December, like we got into the 0-day vulnerability with Log4j. Pretty much it's sent shockwaves to every developers in the world, and I'm sure that like almost 90% of the people like who went for vacation, they had to cancel the vacation and work on the Log4j 0-day exploit that came into the market in like December 11th or 12th. Why is this happening, right? Like if you look at it, like from 2020, there is a significant cloud adoption. One is due to the pandemic and people started working remote. There's a lot of stress factors in the personal side of it, and people started working in silos. And the security piece is often missed, like when you move from like legacy system to the secure cloud platform, because like not everybody is trained in cloud. And if you look at from the vulnerability aspect as well, there is a 600% increase in the total number of vulnerabilities that came from 2020 to 2021. And on an average, there's a 50 vulnerabilities that's coming into the market. And as of today, like we talk about critical, high, medium, low vulnerabilities, but like there are 4,000 vulnerabilities is worst of the worst that is still in the market. And that's because like people are working in silos, and like if you look at the development teams and the security teams, it's like more often like 1:80 or 1:100. Like you have one security person who works with 100 developers, so it's always very difficult for the security team to work in parallel with development team and help them like resolve the security issues upfront even before going into the production, right? So like let me go through an example of Log4j issue that happened, right? Like we had a Fortune 500 customer. So pre and post Opsera, the challenges they had is like no visibility into applications or the microservice that is impacted like without Opsera. And like they used to take about like 3 to 4 hours for each application issue that comes in like without Opsera. With Opsera, when Log4j issue happened, like what they did is like they were able to isolate the microservices that is running in cloud or different services on what application is impacted, and they were able to basically build the pipelines with security and quality gates in matter of minutes. When I say matter of minutes, like about 2 to 3 minutes I'm talking about. And then they were able to push the code into production, like where the issues are fixed, and when the issues are not fixed, they were able to stop it. And within 24 hours, they were able to fix all the external facing applications, right? I'm talking about Fortune 500 company in the world. Within 24 hours, they were able to fix all the Log4j issues, and within 48 hours, they were able to fix even the internal application as well. And they had to go through like about 500 plus releases in about 24 to 48 hours. So that's the advantage and power of Opsera, like where you have like the security and quality gets baked in automatically, and they were able to execute the pipelines and remediate the issues 85% faster than like usually they used to do like whenever a vulnerability was introduced into the market. right? So I'm going to talk about shift left pipeline, right? Like people are talking about like having a shift left mind, a shift left approach. What is a shift left approach? Like you need to have continuous integration in place and continuous testing and security and continuous deployment. How do you do that? So most of the companies in the world today, like at least 80% of the market, they are using do it yourself, like where like they build their own pipeline, and the developers, they don't care about security because like for them it's all about delivery of the code, the functionality of the code, and business needs to meet the requirements in terms of pushing the product to the market. But they all forget one impact and one important factor, which is like the security and quality aspect of it. Because now with more cloud adoption, security has to be baked in, it has to be a mandated process. And this can be achieved easily like a platform like Opsera, because like we are not a platform just supporting the software development lifecycle or infrastructure as a code, but like you can also build the security and quality baked into any SaaS-based platforms like Snowflake or the Informatica or the Salesforce or the COTS-based application as well. So that's the power of Opsera. Like that's where, like I was telling, like we are the one and only or the first orchestration platform where we orchestrate any software development, any code that is going into production. Right, I'll quickly like give a demo of like 10 minutes and like how these pipelines are built and like how easy it is to get the visibility out of it, and like how we are trending in terms of security, and how do you manage the approvals and governance within the platform itself. So this is the overview of Opsera. So we have like three modules within Opsera, which is the toolchain automation, where like you can self-service any CI/CD tool within Opsera. We have a tool registry concept, like which is like next-gen CMDB, where you'll be able to rationalize all the DevOps tools in an enterprise, and you'll be able to monitor who is using what. That's about the toolchain automation. And you can bring your own tools as well. Like we don't enforce customers to use one particular tool. That's the power of Opsera, because we take vendor agnostic and we are like cloud agnostic. So you bring your own tool. Our focus is to empower the developers, but at the same time make sure that like the governance from the security aspect or the quality aspect is met as well. And then on top of it, you build up declarative pipelines by drag and drop option, where you can build any stages and you can set thresholds for security and quality, and you can send notifications to different teams to see like who has to make what call in terms of pushing the code to production. And the third thing is the 360-degree visibility. When I say 360-degree visibility, we really give that option for customers. We are not just focusing on the DORA KPIs, the 5 top KPIs. We offer 100 plus KPIs where people can measure based on the personas, from like a developer to manager to executives to CIOs and CEOs, to see what's really happening within the software development lifecycle. And we start from the planning, from the ideation of the story, and then the until the story goes into the production, you'll be able to measure and see what's really happening across your development lifecycle. And we are the one and only like a no-code DevOps platform for IT and Eng team as well. So one key thing that needs to be happening in today's world, right, like with respect to cloud adoption, security issues that's coming into the market, is like, how do you measure the KPIs? What are the key KPIs that you need to measure, right? Like you need to measure the vulnerabilities, you need to measure the code smells and remediation and the maintainability rating. On top of it, like you also, if you're running on a cloud, you need to make sure you have a threat vulnerability management process where you scan all your containers and you have a golden image. And if you are running an infrastructure, you need to have a sentinel policy, and then like you need to have the TerraScan just to make sure that like you are not falling into any compliance related issues. And all these things can be like achieved using Opsera with one-click audit reports. With the summary, like if you look at it, like you can bring in any security or quality tool, and you also bring the mindset across the organization that like security and quality is going to be the key aspect of any delivery that team is working on. And we empower the development teams with out-of-the-box integrations with thresholds and quick feedback loops for the decision making. And also like we offer no-code pipelines. So if you want to have a demo with us, like reach us at like opsera.io and use the Angelbeat code, and probably like first signups will get $50 gift card as well. Like let me quickly jump into the demo and show you what we do at Opsera. Give me a second. So this is a landing page, and we are a 100% SaaS-based application. We are a microservice and container-based, and we focus on security and quality aspects. So this is the three models I was talking about. Tool chain. It's more about like you can bring your own tool and you can build your own pipelines. So the next module is the pipelines, where we offer the catalog where customers can spin their pipeline templates from the scratch without them. They have to write any piece of code here. All they have to do is click pipe, create pipeline. This will create a pipeline for them with all the shift left approach with build, code scan, unit testing, performance, and functional testing, right? I'll quickly show you like how I can build security step within the pipeline. So now I have a build and code scan. Now I want to add a twist lock container integration, right? Container scan integration. All I have to do is click edit workflow and then like click here and add twist lock, choose the tool here, and then save. Your integration is completed with the microservice. All you have to do is twist lock here and then choose the tool, and then like you can enable the client side thresholds, right? So you can basically say, okay, critical, I have to be on 0, and you can add the threshold okay, total number of vulnerabilities. I can maximum threshold is 1 for me on the compliance side of it. And then like on the vulnerability side, like you can say total is 5 or 0 and click save. So when you execute this step, what will happen is we look for these thresholds are met. And if it is not met, we stop the pipeline, and we can also send the notifications to the respective people, like either via Slack or the Microsoft Teams or the Jira or ServiceNow or email. And they'll be able to take an action even without coming into the Opsera, because like we do have two-way integration, marketplace integration with all these tools that is shown in the screen, right? And on top of it, like if you want to go for an audit reporting, right, let me show you something here. So we have something called build blueprints, and if you want to compare between two different pipeline, two different releases that happened, and you want to look into the security aspect of it, you can see what are all the different steps that this particular pipeline execution had, and what is the security report here. So they have like 58 vulnerabilities, and 50 are negligible, and like 5 medium, 2 high severity, and they will be able to look into those vulnerability. Click here and go see what's that vulnerability is about, right? And that's the advantage. And I can also do the comparison in the sense like, give me a second. You can compare between like each and every step, like with code scan, like what really happened, who triggered this particular pipeline, who triggered this, who is responsible for this particular code scan. And you can see the logs, what's really happening, and like how many security vulnerabilities have been caught. And you'll be able to have an effective conversation with the development team and help them as part of the development lifecycle, rather like worrying about the code moving into the production, right? The third part is the unified insights, right? Like I was talking about the real-time insights. So when it comes to the real-time insights, you can build the dashboards from the marketplace. As I said, like we have 100 plus KPIs here across like different categories, starting from pipeline to security, quality, planning, and operations. And you'll be able to pick and choose the dashboard that you want based on the tools that we have integrated with. We have 60 plus tools integrated now, and you'll be able to build the dashboards in real time. All you have to do is click the dashboard, add the KPIs, click the dashboard. You'll be able to see how you're performing in terms of your entire development lifecycle. And on top of it, you can also set the goals, right? Okay, what is your build statistics? What is your goal for your successful build rate? Your successful build rate, you can tie it back with your security. If there is no security issue on the code quality, then like mark the build as successful or failed. And you'll also be able to see the security KPIs, right? Like for instance, like you want to see the sonar vulnerability rating here, and your goal is A, but your reliability rating is at B. And like, how do you identify which application team or which project, which organization is causing this issue? You can click this and we give you an actionable intelligence here. And say, if you look at this node analytics services, this project is creating the 5 vulnerabilities out of like all the projects within that organization. And you can see 1 and you can 4, and you can click this, and that will take you to the pipeline and the logs that will tell you like who was the developer that pushed the code, and you'll be able to have a conversation with them and help them out. And until then, like you don't have to approve the pipeline. You can keep the pipeline in pending approval. And once the issues are fixed, rerun the pipeline. You make sure that the pipeline is executed without any security issues. Then it goes into the production. I'm not saying that like we'll be able to catch the vulnerabilities that is coming into the production, which is already running in the production, but you can minimize the impact by catching the security vulnerabilities that you can as part of the baked in security and quality gates integration that we offer out of the box with Opsera. So not just the sonar or something like we have integration to Anchor, we have integration to Twistlock, we have integration to Coverty, Black Duck. So you choose the tool and we give the dashboards based on the persona. We don't give like dashboards for each and every tool. We can slice and dice it, and based on the persona, they can see like what level of information and which application is causing, which technology is having problem within the organization, how they want to improve the developer in terms of like the training or the investment they have to make around the security as well. So any questions for me? Yes, Raj, to answer your question, like, yes, we do. We basically like look for the NIST standards and check for all the list of libraries or the vulnerabilities. And you can also build your own library that needs to be scanned. And we make sure that like those libraries are scanned and that gating has been taken care as part of the pipeline. For the release pipeline, do you have integration with all the cloud platforms for deployment? Yes, as I said, like we are cloud agnostic and vendor agnostic, and we do have native integration to all the cloud platforms that we have in the market. And you can also use Argo, or you can also use Octopus, or you can bring in your own script SSH or custom scripts to deploy your application into the production or any environment.